what about when it comes to them paying when they lose? How would that look?
Met Owen, started betting with him. I won like 80 something thousand from him. And he came and paid me. He's very honorable. The second week, I lost 100 and something thousand to him. But I went to Vegas that weekend and blew a bunch of money, like 2 million. And so Owen I put on the back burner on that list. And we've never met. We only met the first week. He actually wired the money. The second week was when I had to make that phone call and say, Owen, sorry, but you're going to get paid, but I'm going to need a few weeks. And, in the bookmaking world, when you take someone's money and then you don't pay them the very next week, their money back, at least, that is like a cardinal sin. You might as well try to sleep with their wife. I mean, it's really the worst thing you could do. And so I addressed that immediately because that's how I work. And I said, look, I'm a degenerate. I just blew a bunch of money. So he's like, I don't give a flying shit what you got to say. You're going to pay me. And I respected that. And I said, listen, I just told you, you'll get paid. It's going to be a few weeks. He's like, that's unacceptable. And so I said, that's a problem for you. Then we can handle it however you like. And Owen said, well, that is a problem. I said, well, how about I just fucking text you my address, motherfucker, and we'll find out what kind of problem it is. He says, no problem. Give it to me right now. Gave him my address. He jumped in his fucking car and his Range Rover and drove right to my house. So I laced up my shoes and I told my ex at the time, I said, I'm going to have a little altercation here in about 45 minutes because he was coming from Manhattan Beach, Redondo Beach. And I said, okay. So I sat on the porch, never met him. Owen pulls up in a white Range Rover, and I'm in Aliso Viejo, California. He comes to a gated community, and he kind of pulls up fast, gets out of the car, and he's a big guy. And back then, by the way, he was tatted up from neck down. He had them all removed. So his entire body is tatted, and he was pretty jacked. And in my mind, I said, fuck, this. And he's 7 years younger than me. And I said, fuck. But I was in really good shape then. Much better than I am now. And I also thought I was invincible, So I stood up and I said, I guess we're going to dance, huh? And he came around the car and he started smiling. And then I could see the look in his eye. Like, you could tell when you're about to get in a squabble. And I could tell that he didn't want to fight. And he came over, he says, man, I got to meet this guy that's got more balls than I do. And I said, then I kind of, took a deep breath because like, fuck. First of all, I don't want to brawl at my house. I have kids. Number two, I was in the wrong. And number three, this guy had a lot of nerve to come down and, call me out. So anyway, I ended up giving him I had like 10 grand. I had more money, but I had to keep it for my business. So I gave him like 10 grand just to show him good faith. We hit it off. We've been friends ever since. And that was literally 15 years ago.